Assalamualaikum Doctor, we are from Group 19. We will represent on report of financial position and performance of the Bank Simpanan Nasional (BSN) Berhad today. BSN or Bank Simpanan Nasional has been in operation in Malaysia for 25 years. Since its inception in 1974, BSN products and services have grown in popularity, particularly among Bumiputras and civil personnel. BSN underwent significant adjustments in early 1988. The major decision was to increase the number of BSN branches in order to give more easy banking to its consumers. BSN was considered Malaysia's largest retail banking company with over 400 locations. Thus, the purpose of this research is to investigate and evaluate BSN's financial position and performance. The bank has restructured itself into 4 distinct pillars: retail banking, business support, corporate support, and strategy and communications. The efforts were made to ensure the organization's long-term viability and dedication to its specific tasks.
Type of deposit account and financing. For BSN, this is the product they are offered. The product is current account, saving account, term deposit, and financing product. First, current account. Current account is account that allows for frequent transactions, including deposit, withdrawal, and payment. This is the BSN current account product. BSN Zero I account, BSN Basic Current Account, BSN My Business I, BSN My Ringgit I, BSN Non-Profit Organization, and lastly, BSN My One Account. Second, saving account. Saving account is account that allow individual to deposit money and interest on the deposit fund and make occasional withdrawal while maintaining the principal balance. This is some BSN saving account product. BSN Zero account, like the current product account, BSN My Academy Fantasia, BSN Junior account, and BSN Gold Investment account. Third, term deposit. Term deposit is funds are deposited for a specific period at a fixed interest rate, providing a predetermined return upon maturity. BSN only offer BSN Term Deposit I for their term deposit product. Lastly, this is some of the BSN financing product: home financing, car financing, education financing program, microfinance, and BSN credit card.
Capital adequacy can be measured using the risk-weighted capital ratio and the core capital ratio. Risk-weighted capital ratio (RWCR), also known as capital adequacy ratio. It measures a bank's financial stability by calculating capital as a percentage of total risk-weighted assets. The core capital ratio is a measure of a bank's financial strength that was included in the Basel III Accord on Bank Regulation. BSN has a risk-weighted capital ratio of 17.77% in 2020. It increased to 19.77% in 2021 as total risk-weighted assets were lowered. The RWCR jumped to 21.89% in 2022. In 2020, BSN had a core capital ratio of 11.67%. The core capital ratio, like the RWCR, has improved dramatically and is expected to reach 12.23% in 2021. In 2022, it will grow up to 12.67%. It's because Tier 1 capital climbed the greatest during the previous year. A liquid asset requirement, often known as a ratio, is a commercial bank's duty to retain a specific percentage of a total deposits and certain other obligations in liquid assets. Examiners evaluate a bank's liquidity based on interest rate risk sensitivity, the availability of assets that may readily be converted to cash, and reliance on short-term unpredictable financial resources.
Asset quality covers an institutional loan's quality, which reflect the earnings of the institution. Assessing asset quality involves rating investment risk factors the bank may face and balance those factors against the bank's capital earnings. This shows the stability of the bank when faced with particular risk. Examiners also check how companies are affected by the fair market value of investment. Lastly, asset quality is reflected by the efficiency of an institution's investment policies and practice. A non-performing loan (NPL) is a loan in which the borrower is in default due to the fact that they have paid. In 2020, BSN has reached 2.68% and dropped to 2.37% in 2021 and 2.08% in 2022 due to the decrease in non-performing loans in the 3 years continuously. Loan deposit ratio is a ratio between the bank's total loans and total deposit. In 2020, BSN obtained a percentage of 100.07% and it went up to 112.43% in 2021 and 128.11% in 2022 due to the inconsistency of total customer deposit. Lastly, the shareholder equity ratio indicates how much of a company's assets have been generated by issuing equity shares rather than by taking on debt. The lower the ratio result, the more debt a company has used to pay for its asset. It also shows how much shareholders might receive in the event that the company is forced into liquidation. The result represents the amount of the assets on which shareholders have a residual claim. In 2020, BSN acquired 1,938.61% and decreased throughout the years to 2022 at 1,638.8%.
Next, I will talk about management soundness. Management soundness evaluates the institution's ability to effectively respond to financial stress. This rating is educative for the management's competency in identifying, measuring, overseeing, and controlling the risks associated with the institution's day-to-day operations. It encompasses the management's proficiency in ensuring the secure functioning of the institution while adhering the relevant internal and external regulation. Administrative expenses refer to the costs that cannot be directly linked to the specific functions within the company, such as manufacturing, production, or sales. General and administrative expenses include rent, utilities, insurance, legal fees, and certain salaries. The ratio of administrative expenses to the expenditure quantity, the proportion of the company's sales allocated to administrative costs. Based on table of ratio, in 2020, 35.13% of expenditure was allocated to administrative expenses. This percentage decreased to 34.167% in 2021. and followed by an increase to 36.71% in 2022.
Earning performance. Return on asset ROA has fluctuated through the years. In 2020, 0.5% increased to 0.67%, then dropped to 0.62% in 2022. However, return on equity ROE has the same trend on the fluctuation. In 2020, ROE percentage increased from 5.21% to 7.38% in 2021, then dropped to 7.09% in 2022. The difference between the interest revenue that banks and other financial institutions make and the interest that they pay to their lenders in relation to the value of their assets is known as net interest margin. It is comparable to non-financial companies' gross margin. In 2020, BSM Bank had accumulated RM 438,750. Deterioration start in 2020 and reached RM 410,427 in 2021. It then improved more until 2022, which is RM 438,000. An investor using a ratio spread neutral strategy has an unequal number of long and short or return options at the same time. The trade structure, which has a set ratio between the amount of short and long position, is where the name originates. 2 to 1 is the most typical ratio, meaning that there are twice as many short positions as long ones. The fact that there are both long and short positions of the same options type, call or put on the same underlying assets conceptually make this approach resemble a spread strategy. The difference is that the ratio is not 1 to 1. 1.08% of spread ratio has been reached on 2020 by BSN Bank. However, it will drop in 2021 by only achieving 0.94% and maintain it in 2022.
The loans to total assets ratio calculates total loans outstanding as a percentage of total assets. The higher this ratio, the more loans a bank has and the less liquid it is. The higher the ratio, the more exposed a bank is to higher defaults. The ratio's flow remains consistent across the 3-year comparison period. For example, in 2020, BSN Bank achieved 73.57%, which rose to 74.55% in 2021. In 2022, BSN Bank has its ratio back up to 74.81%. The liquid assets to total assets ratio is the ratio of assets that can easily be exchanged for money to the total assets of a bank or other financial institution, as well as the ratio of a company's liquid assets to its current obligations, which is used to assess solvency. BSN Bank earned 5.09% in 2020, but struggled to maintain its reputation, falling to 3.75% in 2021 and 2.58% in 2022.
Lastly, I will talk about overall conclusion. In conclusion, BSN Bank has demonstrated excellent financial performance. Almost all of the financial performance is recorded in a great ratios. As a result, it can demonstrate that BSN Bank has made sound financial investments. However, they have a lot of development to do. As stated in the BSN Bank annual reports, capital must be reposed and well managed. Finally, the BSN's financial performance appeared to be positive. However, it would be even better if we could fix the problems. According to the BSN annual report, They require diversifications in enterprise assets and liability to build a robust CAMEL. We can observe that the ratio improved from 2020 to 2022. So, we believe that BSN will tackle these problems in the near future.